This spring, transform your outdoor space into a regular gathering place for you and your loved ones with help from Ashley. Whether you're into wicker, teak, or driftwood-inspired furniture, we've got the look you're going for. Add in accessories like string lights and beverage tubs to take your patio party from basic to curated and enjoy cozy evening vibes with a new fire pit. Visit Ashley.com or stop by your local store and find affordable pricing and expert support today. Shop and save today, only at Ashley.
This is Optimal Living Daily episode 2735, Do the Best You Can, Dummy, by J Money of budgetsaresexy.com, and I'm Justin Malik. Happy Friday. Welcome to Optimal Living Daily, or OLD, or OLD, one of a few shows where we read articles to you. You can find the other shows where we do this by searching for Optimal Living Daily wherever you're hearing this. But since you're here, let's get right to it as we optimize your life. Do the Best You Can, Dummy, by J Money of budgetsaresexy.com. I've been living under a new mantra these days, and as obvious as it's going to sound, I'm still going to share it with you anyways, mainly because it's Friday and I want you to go into the weekend feeling good about yourselves than the opposite. Today's topic is about accomplishing your goals, or rather not giving up on your goals. And tell me if this sounds familiar. You get super excited to accomplish blank. You make it a priority and get all hardcore about it. You last an entire month without slipping up at all. Then one day you do slip up and you cry a little inside. You make up for it the following day and now you're back on track again until you slip up again. Then one day becomes 2 days becomes 3, and eventually you've given up entirely. But hey, you gave it a shot. If you set New Year's resolutions, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. How are those going, by the way? I call this the all or nothing mentality. The second your slip-ups go into 2-day territory, it all becomes a downhill spiral, making you feel more and more like a big fat dummy wondering why everyone else has their together but you. But here's a hint, they don't. They only put the good stuff on Facebook. Now, I've done this with my money, I've done this with my projects, and most recently, I've almost done this with my health. Well, I'm here to tell you there's been a new revolutionary strategy invented. It's called Do the Best You Can, Dummy, where you do the best you can and not give up. Because when you give up, you get zilch in return, and anything is better than zilch, unless we're talking about STDs. Here are the rules to the game. You genuinely do the best that you can. You adapt to life's curveballs and only cry a little about it. You don't berate yourself for not accomplishing everything like a Mr. or Mrs. Perfect Goody Two-Shoes. And most importantly, you don't give up. I've been following this strategy for 3 months now, and I can assure you it's been a much more rewarding experience than simply going big or going home. It feels a little like winning a third-place ribbon, if you will. It's not quite the best place to come in, but it's a hell of a lot better than getting honorable mention, and your parents will still buy you an ice cream cone later. If you recall, my personal resolutions were to cut out sugar and salt and start exercising more to manage my blood pressure. So I set out to exercise every single day for at least 30 minutes. Check my blood pressure daily, and that worked for a good 3 months. Stop eating stuff with massive amounts of salt in it, extremely hard to do. And then cut out my sugar intake, easier than salt, but still pretty hard. For 2 months, I was pretty solid, giving myself high fives every other second. But then the slippage started happening. First, I missed a day or two because of workloads. Then I skipped a week because I was feeling off about it all and just wanting to give up. And then we had our second beautiful baby boy, and you can only guess what happened next. I gave up on everything entirely until one day I snapped out of it and realized I needed to jump back on the ship, if for nothing else but my family. Here's what my do the best you can dummy habits look like now. Work out 1 to 3 times a week, whatever I can pull off. Stop obsessing about the sodium levels on every package of yummy food and just cut back. Also, never eat at Taco Bell again. Do you know how bad that place is for you? Stop wondering how many spoonfuls of sugar I should eat daily and instead limit my portions, though I have stopped putting it into my coffee every day and surprisingly don't miss it a bit. And enjoy a more stress-free, semi-healthier lifestyle. Semi-healthier because I still have a long way to go in this area. But again, doing a few things every week versus nothing is much better in the long run. And I think that's the part most of us miss. We get so dang down on ourselves that doing just a little doesn't seem quite worth it. We want to win the whole freaking race, and we want to be doing it now. Perhaps this new strategy comes off as being complacent. It could be. But again, when you compare it to the alternative of giving up, it seems like a world of a difference. Kind of like when some of y'all got mad at me for drinking bottled water a few years back, even though it was the only method that got me to drink it. You told me to just drink tap water, it's free, and you're being bad to the environment, stop it, which were all indeed valid points. However, after 30 years of trying all kinds of tricks and tips, it just wasn't happening. So I had to ask myself if drinking 0 glasses of water a day to save money was better than ultimately being healthy, and I bet you can guess which route I took. I'll have you know, however, that I did finally find a solution that solves all problems going forward. I'll blog about that soon. Pretty psyched about it. So all this to say that it's okay not to be perfect with every single goal you set. If you're having trouble saving that $1,000 for your e-fund or nixing your $3,000 of credit card debt, that's all fine and normal. Just don't entirely give up. Continue stashing $10 here and paying off $20 there when possible. And if you happen to cross a nice streak of fortune down the road, whether mentally or financially, you can tweak your plan from there. Just never, ever give up. So please bring back those goals of yours you set in January, and let's get this party started again. Only this time, try simply doing what you can, dummy. No more going hardcore and burning out in the end. Doing something is better than nothing. You just listened to the post titled, Do the Best You Can, Dummy, by Jay Money of budgetsaresexy.com.
So you open Google Chrome on your phone, you're hunting for a super rare first edition vinyl of a band you're obsessed with, when you're supposed to be working. But this site you tapped on seems pretty shady. And Daryl from IT just jumped up from his desk. Oh no, he's coming your way. It's a good thing built-in malware protection keeps you safe and sound. Not from Daryl though, sorry. There's no place like Chrome. Download Google Chrome on your phone.
At Discount Tire, we know your time is valuable. Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online. Did you know Discount Tire now sells wiper blades? Check out our current deals at discounttire.com or stop in and talk to an associate today. Discount Tire. Let's get you taken care of.
Thank you to Jay of budgetsaresexy.com, regularly narrated over on Optimal Finance Daily. This is one of those articles where I started reading it and immediately brought up flashbacks of things I've done or tried, which usually means that it resonated with you in some way too, most likely. I used to do this big time with what felt like pretty much everything I did, from work to exercise, you name it. I was almost proud to be an all or nothing guy. That is, until I was well into doing this podcast and heard why the all or nothing mentality is actually holding me back. When I'd start exercising, I'd want to jump into some big program like P90X, which tells you to do one exercise DVD a day with maybe one day off a week. And some of the DVDs are over an hour long. That's just a recipe for disaster to jump right in, expecting to work out every single day for that long without any kind of habit built up yet. Instead, what I do now is more like what Jay Money was talking about. I try to work up to it, do my best to get something in, even if it's just stretching, and try to find the most enjoyable exercise activities so I actually want to do it. It really makes a difference by shifting that mindset. So thank you to Jay Money for the reminder. Thank you for being here. And if you've ever shared the show, that really goes a long way to keep all of this going. Thank you for that. Hope you're having a great Friday if you're listening in real time, and I'll see you tomorrow over the weekend where your optimal life awaits.